Hello there, everyone. Good morning and welcome to the NCRO's first triannual breakfast for 2025. My name is Howard Barron. I joined NCRO in 2010 and have been a member of the six-person insurance committee since 2017. How was your breakfast today? And can we please thank also the servers and the wait staff here? They did a great job. So on our agenda today, we have an update report coming from our president, Jay Kuhnie, on national legislative issues, Stellantis, and some other NCRO issues, following by an engaging presentation by Bill Golling, who's the president of Golling, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram. Bill will be sharing with us his insights into where he sees the mobility industry headed now and how Stellantis fits into that future. Now, as always, we want to thank you all for supporting the NCRO. We have about 150 members that were registered today for today's meeting, so that was great. So now, other than Golling, we have a number of other retiree-friendly dealers here today, and I'd like to call to the podium our Vice President for NCRO, Pete Pincinato, who will be introducing them to you. Pete?
Morning, everyone. I would like our NCR, all our retiree-friendly dealers are sitting at the table there, so one at a time, could you stand up and introduce yourself and what dealer you're from? So Matthew, you could start.
Matt Godfrey from Golling, Bloomfield Hills. Thanks for having us today. We did bring some cars that you can see the cars here when we're done with the meeting. So any questions on it, we'll be able to answer them. Thank you.
Adam Holton, Golling, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, Roseville, east side, west side, we're always there for you. We appreciate your business. Thank you very much.
Chris Janneman, Golling Chrysler. Thanks for having us. Mike Golling from Golling Chrysler. Always glad to be here every time. Mark, who's minding the store? Who's minding the store? The monkeys are just running through. Just very glad to always be here. We always appreciate having breakfast with everybody. So hopefully you enjoyed the presentation later. He was very nervous about it. Hi, I'm Brian Ackerman. I'm not from Golling. Jim Rails friendly. We have 3 locations in Pierre, Romeo, Michigan, and Warren, Michigan. We've been a long-time supporter of the NCRO. Really appreciate your business and always pleasurable to serve. So thank you.
We're only missing one, Rochester, Chrysler, Jeep.
You don't have to mention it.
They were supposed to be here, they didn't show, but that's okay. The other thing I want to announce, I want you to start looking at our website. The dealers, we're going to start putting, starting either March or April, we're going to put a tech tip out on our website from each of the dealers about maybe help you resolve an issue that you may have on your vehicle that could be helpful with today's, all the electronics and that we have on our vehicles. I can give you something that comes to mind that just happened to be 2 weeks ago. I was driving my Pacifica down 275, was using my Waze, had CarPlay working. All of a sudden, no more map, gone, everything. CarPlay wouldn't work anymore. I looked, the message came up on the screen, Uconnect module needs servicing, go to your nearest dealer. Well, I ended up contacting Golling, where I get at least my vehicle from. The guy says, well, I can make you an appointment, but why don't you try this? So what I did is, he said, unpair your phone and then repair the phone, pair your phone back in. I did that, immediately everything started to work. So I don't know if it was the Uconnect software, because I did have an update a week before that, or your iPhone, you're always getting updates from Apple on the software and everything. So those are the kinds of things, and they really want to do this because they think it'll be good for you, to make, not to have to always go into service, to get something done that could be done really easy. And they're part of the being retiree friendly. They want to be helpful to our retirees, to our customers. So be lookout, go to our website starting either March or April, and we'll start putting these tech tips out. Okay? Thank you.
So thank you very much, Pete, for that info. Now, without much further ado, it's my pleasure to introduce the president of NCRO, Mr. Jay Kuhnie.
Good morning. Let me get my stuff out of here. Okay, then I'll just tell you next. How's that? Okay. I appreciate everybody being here. I don't know what the temperature was when you left this morning. When I left, my driveway was -5. When I got here, it was 10. So you guys actually qualify for the award for the hardiest Michiganders in a business. You guys, thank you for attending. It's phenomenal. Besides the group that we have here, which I think is a pretty good for a February with all the people in Florida, we could have probably this many people in Florida. But we have about 50 or 60 people on the website, on our webinar that we film this for, send it to them so they can watch us and ask questions and do whatever. So added to a group here, we probably have 40 or 50 people that are on the internet. Next. Okay, well, if it doesn't go, we'll do it without the slides. See if it works, Gordy. Okay, I'm going to try to do this relatively quickly because I want to leave a lot of time for Bill because I'm really excited to have Bill speak to us today. In fact, a quick story, we tried to do this last February, but somehow we missed the schedule because Bill was entertaining family down in Florida with his grandkids as you would expect. Recently grandfathered, he wanted to take the family and the kids down to Disney World, so we missed him last February, and we were able to get it hooked up this February. So I'm interested in seeing what you present to us. What I want to talk about is three quick things. First of all, I want to talk about the NRLN 2025 agenda that we talk about, and I think everybody realizes that as a member of the NCRO, you're also a member of the National Retiree Legislative Network. That's the national group, about 37,000 individuals and many companies that are represented. We have basically three people that are heavily involved. I'm one of the vice presidents. Dana Oliver is a vice president, one of the legal individuals for the NRLN, and Deb Morissette, who is not on the board of the NRLN, but also does yeoman's work in studying all the bills that go before Congress and whether or not they're retire-friendly and whether we should support them or not. So Deb's very, very involved with the NRLN as well. So I just want to talk a little about their agenda. I'm going to talk a little about Stellantis, just from my perspective. I hopefully won't step on anything that Bill says, and again, we're looking forward to that. And then I'll talk to you a little about what I say is NCRO succession planning. The next slide, Gordy. Well, maybe I'll do the next slide. Next slide. The NRLN agenda. Now, I've talked about this before with you guys, and part of what we do from the NCRO, we try to, let's say, influence greatly the things that the NRLN works on from a national perspective. Because some of the things that we try to do with FCA in supporting our pensions and benefits, sometimes we can do that effectively, sometimes we can't, and sometimes you have to go and do it from a national perspective, much like we did for pension overpayment. We talked about that a long time, if you remember that, where people were being overcharged or were being charged back part of their pensions because the company had decided that for some reason they'd screwed up and had overpaid people. We couldn't get the company to do that, so we used the NRLN to get really almost now 2 years ago, federal government passed laws that really stopped that or mitigated the risk to the retiree. So we try to influence what's going on with them. So the things that we're working on next year, 2025, this year I should say, is annuitization protection. I don't know if anybody in this room has been annuitized with their pension, has been sold to either Athene or to Prudential. but the company did some of that. What happens with that is you lose all of PBGC protection, and you only get protection from state guarantee boards, and that is in the state of Michigan. If you're in the state of Michigan, it's $250,000 for a lifetime is all you're protected. If the insurance company that buys the pensions goes out of business. So we're working on a way to eliminate that, so there's a requirement that if somebody annuitizes the pension plans, that the individual, that the company that annuitizes them has to buy reinsurance. So if the insurance company, the first insurance company go out of business, the second insurance company would cover it, so he'd be covered for a lifetime. So it's, to us, it's a huge issue because you have no control over whether the company annuitizes you or not, and there's a huge amount of annuitizations being done with retirees. The second one is protect Social Security. I think everybody would expect us to want to do that, and we think there are ways that government can make some minor changes, and it would protect Social Security. The other one is a new one. It's called universal retirement accounts, and if you really think about our kids and our grandkids and the demise of defined benefit plans and companies going to just contribution plans or 401ks, and you don't have to be involved in 401ks, and quite frankly, from a national perspective, many people that have the opportunity to have a 401k don't participate, and then companies can add or subtract or divide whenever they want to, and there's not a lot of control. And we believe there needs to be some kind of a universal retirement accounts that is portable from company to company if you move, with some requirements on companies to do that. And there is, quite frankly, some real impetus in Washington for that, because I think some of the legislators have looked forward and find out that most people aren't prepared for retirement. So sooner or later, that becomes a welfare issue for the government. So there's some real opportunity there. And then the last one is protecting Medicare, and there's some issues there that we want to deal with, and how do we protect Medicare? Next slide. Okay, Stellantis. Now, I'm going to go back real quick in my history. I started in the sales division a long time ago. Spent my first almost 12 years in the sales division. And basically, I cut my teeth in this car business by dealers. So I can't tell you the respect I have for our dealer body. And I can remember back, and we've talked a little about with some of the guys that are here that are sales guys, some of our history, and we've had dealers that basically have been the engine that's kept this company alive. And I firmly believe that. Our dealer body over the years has been spectacular. So I'm so glad that the guys are represented here and that Bill's going to speak to us, because I think it's a real important opportunity for us to hear what the dealers have to say and maybe what impact they've had. There's been a lot of stuff written about Stellantis in the papers about how bad it's been, and I'm sure that Bill will spend a little time talking to us about that. However, I do think that recently with some of the changes, it looks to me like, from what I've read and from what I've heard, that they've maybe gotten some sense to how they operate and whatever. So Bill will take we'll talk more about that. But I did get I got an interesting text message from used to be an executive vice president of the company, retired, and has in fact spoken to us in the past. And he sent me a note just to say that the couple of individuals that are now in charge, both the COO and the CFO that he has worked with, and he really believes that those are the right kind of people to be involved in, and hopefully that they believe that the direction, at least he said, he thinks that the direction they're taking will be important for us in the future. So hopefully that is the fact, and that the company will get itself straightened out and turned around. I know for many of us in this room, we've been through this a lot of times. I can think about it back in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s. So hopefully now in the 2025s that the company will get itself back together and has listened to the dealers, I believe, and we'll get the ship righted a little bit. The last one I want to talk to you about is next slide, if you will, Gordon, is NCRO succession planning. And I don't mean to be ominous, but I will say, if you look down here, it says that the NCRO has been around for now 17 years, which is hard to believe that it is only 17 years, but quite frankly, it's hard for me to believe that it is 17 years. And I've been the president now, I think, for like 14 or almost 15 of those years, which has been just a tremendous honor. And the board we have that fights for you, we have about 18 members on our board now, and they do unbelievable work, and they're a tremendously dedicated organization. But quite frankly, I will tell you that we are getting old. Does that seem hard to believe, that we're all getting old? I don't want to say that. I know that sounds really bad, but we are maturing. Let's say. I will tell you that we have the same issue on the NRLN board, because Bill Catteright, who's the president, has been the president for over 15 years. Bill's 82. And has gone through some health issues this year. So we're working on that succession planning in the NRLN, and what do we do with that? So it's the same thing here, and we have some individuals that I think would like to retire again off the board. John Kaiser in front tried to retire off the board, and I just told him he can't. So fortunately, he said, okay, I'll kind of be semi-retired. So what I'm getting at is just a request from you guys. If you know of anybody who's interested in being a part of this board, and if they have expertise, finance expertise, or HR expertise, or anything like that that could be very usable for us as an organization to be able to help you guys with the issues that you come about, I just ask if you would think about that. If you know anybody, that you would contact me. I think everybody knows how to get a hold of Jay Kuhnie at jkuhnie@yahoo.com. 248-760-6904. It's in a book. You can call me anytime. But I'm serious that we really would like to see if there's some opportunity for some younger individuals that might be able to give us a hand on some of the areas. So if you want to be involved in a great organization, and if you have some time, we'd appreciate you at least thinking about it and giving me a call and see if we could add to our group. Again, I can't tell you how much our organization appreciates you guys individually. $25 a month seems to be, inexpensive for, excuse me. Yeah, a year, geez. Try to give us a raise. Sorry. But $25 a year, quite frankly, is a pretty good amount of, small amount of money for what we try to do to fight for you guys if you have issues and whatever. So I do thank you for that. We can't imagine what it would be without the support of you guys individually. And it is really an honor, I speak on behalf of the board, it's really an honor for us to be there and working for you. So again, thanks for coming out today. I'll turn it back. Yes? Membership. Okay, membership. If you do know of anybody that has retired recently or is retired and is not a member of the NCRO, we would appreciate it if you would speak to them and ask them if they would entertain becoming a member. As you can imagine, as we are maturing, we're maturing to another place in many instances. So unfortunately, we've lost a fair amount of members in the last several years, and that's just because of the age that we're getting to. So if you know any particularly younger people that have retired recently, the biggest issue we have with FCA right now is we don't have any ability, nor do they give us the ability to find out who's retired. So we can't get the names, we can't get the information to talk to them. So we basically are word of mouth, and we know that a lot of the organizations that have breakfasts and lunches and whatever they get together, that they do a lot of recruiting for us. So again, we'd ask that if you do know people that have retired and are not a member, we just appreciate that you would extol the virtues of the NCRO and see if they might join us. So with that.
Members do we have?
Well, members, dues-paying members. At the moment, through a couple weeks ago, I think, Pete, we had like 2,800 dues-paying members. We probably think by the end of March, we'll end up having probably somewhere around 3,200 to 3,300 dues-paying members. We do have probably nearly close to 6,000 names of members, or people who are members or who are on our list, but we probably have a current number of, somewhere in the neighborhood of 3,300.